to be still and know. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm really excited that you came back, and hopefully I've got something interesting or encouraging to say. I guess it's been a while since I've done a video, and I guess I'm doing one because there's been a lot going on in my mind and a lot of things happening, and frustrations, obviously, because we're still in the midst of, being awake among sleeping people and not being able to really freely talk about what's going on. So, for instance, like the thing that happened at the school, a lot of these things I can't really speak about clearly because of the YouTube algorithms, but that was devastating, and there's people that are just really, really upset about that. But then you wonder, did that really happen? Because in the past, some of these things didn't happen, but then you don't want to disrespect or say something that might, say if it really did happen. You wouldn't want to disrespect the people or not, obviously I pray about it. I pray for the innocent because we just don't know. And so, assuming it did happen, praying for them. I mean, I'd heard rumors that, and these are totally rumors, these are the back channel rumors, that some of these kids were actually kidnapped. Who knows? Who do we believe? It's going to be so nice when all this stuff is out in the open, in that, even as awful as it's going to be to know the actual reality, it's going to be refreshing because we'll be able to start talking about it to people, especially people like my husband, because it's one of the frustrating things about being awake among so many sleepers. And I do, like I said, I have friends I can talk to, but going through this without my husband, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there, I know there's a lot of you out there that have been walking this with your partner that you've had your whole married life, or however long that's been, or someone you've really trusted, a friend, and they're not walking with you because they don't see it or they just can't accept it. And so it makes it so frustrating. And you can't even discuss the idea that maybe that was I'm going to say false flappy thing, because we can't say that word here. Who knows? Some of it could have been real, and some of it, these kids, Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on about that. But the whole point is, so much is going on. I've actually been watching a little bit of mainstream media, but not very much, because it puts a pit in my stomach. But some of the stuff that's been coming out in the mainstream media has been phenomenal. Okay, when we sit there and we think nothing's happening, oh my gosh, this is taking too long. There is so much happening, and it's not like how we would like to see it. Okay, so when I was thinking about that, I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get weary, and this is about a don't get weary video. Okay, don't get weary. Think about it. Okay, when I first found out about what was going on, before in 2016, when that election was happening, I was on my knees praying, God, please, this woman cannot become president. It was, I didn't even know. I just knew that if she became president, it was not going to be good. There was just a knowing in my heart. And so many people I knew, they're like, oh, the first woman president. And we know now that, we wouldn't be here today, probably, if she had won. Right? And then I was so excited when Mr. T became president. It was amazing. And I thought, all right, now people are going to see the truth and everything's going to calm down, because before that competition, I keep using words that aren't going to hit that algorithm. Before that competition, there was so much, the previous president really created a lot of division. It was so obvious. And to me, I was just amazed that some people I knew could not see what he was doing. Anyway, so I was like, all right, yay, now we can all hold hands. And obviously it got worse. And that opened my eyes even more, just to see, wow, I mean, I knew the media couldn't be trusted, but really the things that were being said, I'm like, this is not even true. And that, okay, before I had feelings and knowings, but that really made me start digging. I'm like, you know what? These people that I know that hate this man, they don't know what they're hating. And so I would look in to see what he had accomplished, and they'd say, look, this is what he's accomplished. And no, what they're telling you isn't true. Look at this, and those fact checkers, they would come in and they'd say, oh no, this has been debunked. And it's like, really? Okay, you show me the article that debunked it. And there was never anything there that would actually prove that they've been debunked, whatever. And so I'm going to go on and on about that. But it was so frustrating because before you would see all these things that the previous president did that were illegal. I mean, they were clearly illegal, and he kept getting away with it. And then she would get away with this. And it was like, wow, unbelievable. How is all this happening? And that started opening my eyes. But then when Mr. T started getting really attacked, and then, I mean, blatant lies, I'm like, what? I mean, I would watch the news, and something would be announced, and I would watch them spin what they were saying. Like, they'd say one thing, and then by the end of the whole presentation or whatever on the news, it would be completely different and completely horrible about how he accepted it and whatever. You all know what I'm talking about. And so it was getting hopeless. It was getting hopeless. And then the next competition was going on, and I was on my knees. And not only that, many of my family members were just like, I just can't even stand him anymore. I mean, sure, he's doing great things, but I just can't stand him. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I mean, that doesn't make sense. I mean, you're going to vote for someone who's half asleep because you don't like this? I couldn't even conceive of what was going on. But anyway, I'm trying to bring up all that frustration I'm sure you also had, or you may not have had. You may have just woken up since. I don't know. But so remembering that, and then remembering the competition, and during that competition, seeing the blatant theft as it was happening, because I was digging deep. I learned so much more about those kinds of competitions than I'd ever known before, and that was good because I was informed. I was not that informed before, and that caused me to really dig and find out legal procedures. And then after, I think the 6th of January, not the 20th, but the 6th, I remember I was taking down my decorations for Christmas, because I always do it after Epiphany. And I was just listening to YouTube videos, kind of feeling frustrated, wondering, okay, I still had this hope. I said, he's definitely going to win. He's definitely going to win, because, I mean, obviously there's such criminality going on. And I came across this man named Scott, and his last name starts with an M. And if you don't know who that is, you can always message me or something, and I'll tell you who I'm talking about. But he was talking about what was going on in the world, about these dark cult people, which I can't say the names, I can't, you know what I'm saying, and how they have controlled the entire world. And I had no idea. And then it started to make sense. It wasn't about a competition. It was so much bigger. And then I started to fall down those rabbit holes. And I learned the veil was pulled back for me. And I believed it because it made sense. It made sense. All this stuff was crazy. And it started to make sense. And had I fallen down that rabbit hole before, when there wasn't this, like during the previous president, I might have been in despair, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, because I was already in despair, because I kept seeing how everything was going just awful, and that crime was just going rampant in those political circles. And the people I knew just didn't see it. It was so crazy. Anyway, so my point is, it was bad. It was so bad. Nothing ever happened that was good. It got worse and worse, and the crimes just got worse and worse and more blatant. Well, right now, We've had a year and a half. How long has it been since? Yeah, about a year and a half, I guess, since this imposter has been in the office. And we're seeing some amazing things, some amazing truths. Think about it. None of this stuff would be coming out. None of it. The thing about people under 12, none of that would be coming out. We wouldn't be hearing about it. That's why we know it's happening, all right? We need to be encouraged, because as frustrated as we are, we've had a long time to digest the evil. And guess what? These people that are going to be awakened like that, because the truth's going to be coming out, they're not going to have the same amount of time. Because I think, in my opinion, until it's just broken wide open what's really going on, these people are going to continue to be asleep. And it's going to be, they're going to be just slammed against a wall with all this information. So the way that they're releasing it, I just see it. It's brilliant. I was watching a newscast, and I sent it to some of my friends that just talked, they were talking bad about QAnon. So I'm going to say, oh gosh, that letter, the 17th letter of the alphabet, they were talking about that and saying, oh, this crazy group of conspirators, blah, 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 blah. But they were speaking truth. And then they talked about 07. I probably can't say some of these words. And how he might be that ex-president's son. And they showed a picture, and it's just like, I can't even believe these things are coming out on mainstream media. Even if they're mocking it, they showed the picture, and it looks a lot like him. It could be, it couldn't be. Who knows? We don't know. And then when these people that, made an exit come back, that's gonna break open so much more. So my point is, when you think it's just the same old, and especially when you start seeing things like, oh, why is this group using this type of stuff? Because that's evil. Well, they don't know that. No, so few people know that most of what they're doing has been set up by an evil group of people. They don't know that. They're doing it with clear, beautiful intent. And that is something we need to remember. Our intent is so much about what we do. And even if we're doing things that was set up by evil people, because they were laughing at us because we are doing evil things, thinking we're cool, God can turn that around. And our intent changes it all. We are going to change the world. They were destroying it, and they were adding things to our world that were evil. But nothing God created is evil. So we're going to claim all that back, and we are going to turn it back to God. So don't get frustrated about, oh my gosh, this was set up by the evil people, and people shouldn't be doing that. Or guess what? We can take it and we can turn it back to God. So if you start to think, this is never going to happen. Oh, I'm so frustrated. Why can't it be faster? Remember, we already know. They don't know. And so, like I've said before, we have to be there for them, because they are going to need us to help them through it. And so when I see what's happening in the mainstream media right now, I get giddy, because it's like, this would not have been happening before, because I was so frustrated before because none of the stuff was coming out. None of it. Not in the mainstream media. And now it is. So that's this is just a short little video. That's my encouragement to you. Don't get weary. Don't get frustrated. Be excited. And let's pray and just envision the future that's coming. It's so exciting. So exciting. I'm pretty confident this time next year is going to be completely different. Completely different. It's going to be wonderful. So that's all I really have to say. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope it was encouraging, because That's what I want to be. I want to be an encouragement, and I'm trying to remind myself to be encouraged and to remember God has got this. We are made in His image, and He can speak that truth to us, and it's going to be amazing. The best is yet to come, and I am so excited about that. We just have to be patient. We just have to be patient and remember it's God's timing, not our timing, God's timing. Don't forget that. And it will be perfect in God's timing. All right, thanks. Have a great day.